strong, empowered, authentic.
What's up, Ginger Nation? This is Tosh.
This is Darren, and you are listening to the Authentic
Ginger Podcast. Welcome, Ginger Nation. I'm Tosh Taylor.
And I'm Darren Roach, and welcome to the
I don't know what you're pointing
Authentic Ginger Podcast.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? What do you want from me, Darren?
I want you to go by the script. No, we don't script things here. We just go off the cuff. That's the best part of this whole podcast.
As you can tell, there's no script.
That's genuine. You know what? It just falls in line with the authenticity of Authentic Ginger's brand, which is to be authentic, be original, be empowered, be inspirational.
Our last podcast that we did, just the two of us, we talked about the Fonzie running.
Yes.
Hey, with your thumbs up in the air.
Yes.
I tried it. I cannot do it. I felt like a turd. So I didn't do it. And I was alone on my treadmill in the basement. And I was like, what's wrong with him? I'm on your family's side.
My wife's going to love this. Like, she's going to love this. I know she's going to.
What I should have done is looked up to see if Usain Bolt or Dominic Bailey or Andre Degas, if they all run with their thumbs up. If they do, this is valid.
That's right. It's non-issue.
Okay. It's a non-issue.
I was right.
Okay, what's your story for this week? Yeah.
So I like to partake in some sweets every now and again, and I know you're a lover of sweets. I think that's your favorite food. Up until the last 2 visits to one of my favorite stores, they didn't have these candy bars. I'm in IKEA 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, and so on and so forth, looking for this one bar. Now, the bar is called Marabou, and it's the brand name Dame, D-A-I-M.
It's massive.
I'm going to IKEA all of these weeks, and they don't have this damn bar. It's like chocolate cocaine, this bar. So I said, do you have that bar? And I actually said, that bar. And she looked at me and she goes, oh, I have that bar.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
She goes and she finds me that bar. Of course, it is the bar that I've been looking for. And I get to the counter and we're having a chat about, stuff. And I'm just eyeing up this bar. My eyes are like bulging out of my head because I can't wait to sink my teeth into this damn thing.
Shut up, lady.
Shut up. Just let me go, for God's sake. I don't want to hear about supply chain issues and everything else. Because I asked, how long do you think these bars are going to stay in stock? Because they weren't in stock for, I'd say, 6 to 8 months. Now they're back. I asked her, how long will these be back in stock? And she said, I'm going to tell you, sir, if you want more of these for Christmas, you better buy them now because they're going to be gone. Then it goes into the supply chain issues and everything else. So I'm hemming and hawing about, should I buy more? What should I do? I left with one bar, and I'm going to tell you why I left with one bar, Tosh.
I need to know because you should have bought a case.
I should have bought a case.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if I bought a case, I would look like a case because the very minute I got into the car, after I had an IKEA hot dog, veggie dog, because I don't eat meat, and some mac and cheese, I won't lie, 2, I decided to crank open this bar, and it's 3/4 gone. It's a king-size bar. Like, I must have eaten enough chocolate to get me through the holidays in one sitting. Can you imagine if I had 10, maybe 12 or 15 bars on the seat next to me after the lady said, you better buy more? I said, you know what? I'm going to come back and just going to make sure I'm going to do this nice and systematically so that I can burn off what I had eaten already before I go and buy the next one. So I sit there and I'm eating the bar, and I literally ate half the bar. And then I folded it up and I put it down. I looked at the bar and I said, I am still hungry for this bar. Should I make it under a half? And how would that look? Or do I just keep it at the half and I'll have some later? I'll train my brain or trick my brain into thinking that if you have that other quarter later, it doesn't look so bad as it would if you were just doing it in one full motion as you're eating it right there on the spot. And I thought to myself, no, it looks too bad. If Chevy gets in the car and sees that I've eaten 3/4 of this king-size chocolate bar, I may not get another one.
Well, she's going to be making you run with your thumbs up is what she's going to be doing.
I know.
She's going to tell you got to hit the road, buddy.
Man. Jeez, I need to anyway now after that.
I sometimes wonder if our food habits, now I know you're not a ginger, but you're raising ginger, so maybe it's rubbed off on you, but I wonder if our food habits come from DNA, if it has anything to do with being a redhead. Like, do redheads prefer sweets?
Wow.
To anything else? Like, I think these are things that we should probably look up someday.
We need to write that down and check that out because that would be really interesting to see if that's something that can be correlated to that gene specifically.
And probably also something that's never been researched. Because
probably
why
not.
Would it?
Why would it be? That's why we're here. That's why we started this damn podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We want to learn the things.
That's right.
Let's talk celebs, shall we?
Let's
before we get on to more useful information.
Yeah. What do you have?
And all of these ginger celebs we've talked about before, but they're all doing things. They're all moving and shaking right now. So one that made me really, really excited, actually, is we're going to talk about Rupert Grint and Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yep.
My daughters are huge Harry Potter fans. I've really brought it on to them. Harry Potter turned 20.
Right. Yep.
Not the person, the movies.
That's right.
In celebration of that, the director he's been trying to get them back together to do The Cursed Child, but he has managed to get them back together for a 20th anniversary reunion.
Right.
That's going to air on New Year's Day.
Oh, cool.
So I know what my plans are. So he's got Rupert, he's got Emma, he's got Daniel. There's Helena Bonham Carter's going to be there. Like, pretty much everybody is going to be part of this reunion, except they haven't mentioned J.K. Rowling, which I think is kind of funny because she's super controversial right now. And those three leads in the movie all spoke out against her after she made that stupid comment. So,
and remind us again what that comment was.
I don't know what it is word for word, but it was something very transphobic.
Okay.
So
yeah. I just wasn't 100%.
It was not cool. Yeah, it was not cool. So good on them for standing up for that. And nice. At the same time, like, super pumped that they're all going to get back together.
So how long does this how long does this look? Like, what is it? What kind of format is this? Is it a movie? Is it a show? Is it a talk show?
I think it's more like a talk show kind of fun get together kind of thing. So a documentary-ish in a way.
Right. That
they, I think, have done for a lot of things. And I think it's on YouTube, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
So
fun.
Yeah. So it should be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Great.
So that'll be on January the 1st is when that's expected to come out. Before that, of course, is Christmas. And they just announced, actually, I think it was just this morning that I saw it, that Prince Harry and Meghan are not going to see the Queen at Christmas.
Uh-oh.
Which I think is poopy. Like, you should be with your family on Christmas. And I understand that his wife and his children are now his family, of course. But... Yeah. Just last weekend, I went and saw the new movie Spencer that's about Diana, and it's about the Christmas of 1991, I believe, where it's spoken about a lot, actually, that a lot of people, like, it was right before they got divorced, and a lot of people thought that Diana was, like, losing her mind. Anyway, it's about Christmas at that time, and they do it at Sandringham House, which is this giant castle, and I could kind of see after watching that movie why you wouldn't want to put your family into that situation.
Right.
Because as much as you're with your family, they're so regimented and they're like, I only know this from the movie, but everybody has to be weighed when they walk in the door.
What?
Like, funny joke that started with like King George or something like that way back when. And if they haven't gained 3 pounds by the time they leave, then they haven't enjoyed themselves enough and eaten enough food. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if I believe that or not. It sounds really
strange. It's a real thing.
Wow.
It's a real thing that they actually do. So I just thought that was nuts. So I guess I could kind of see not wanting to put that on my family, but at the same time, it's your family and it's family tradition.
Well, this is it. Hey,
anyway.
It's Christmas time, and we all know what happens at Christmas time. You're supposed to put all of your stuff aside and be with family throughout the holidays, and they're no different. They're people like us, but maybe they're thinking differently. So. Had I gone to one of these parties and they gave me one of these chocolate bars, I would leave 3 pounds heavier.
You really would. You'd be like, I got it right here, actually. I'm fine.
You don't even have to feed me. I'll feed myself.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and the last celebrity news, I don't know if you've seen this go around or not. So Nicole Kidman, she just finished doing the Lucille Ball biopic. I Love Lucy. People are saying that, like, she did a great job, but she doesn't look anything like her.
Uh-oh.
So people are not happy about that. They are actually saying that her performance is Oscar worthy.
Wow.
But a lot of people were saying that it should have been Deborah Messing. So people always said that if there ever was an I Love Lucy biopic, it should have been her that plays Lucy. So I haven't seen it, obviously, but I'm looking forward to it. And I'm super game for Ginger winning an Oscar.
So yeah, me too. Absolutely. Why not? The question is how much do you want Nicole Kidman to look like Lucy Bell? Like when you're watching these kind of biopics, how important is it for you as the viewer to see the person that you're watching and go, I can't believe I'm not seeing the real person?
I might be like a 50-50 split on that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Last week on our last episode, we talked with Jenny, and Jenny's a big like redhead in Hollywood activist and or advocate, I should say. I think it is really cool, and I bet you she's super pumped to see an actual redhead chosen to play Lucy, even though Lucy in real life was not a redhead.
Right.
So yeah. I think that's a major win on that one.
Yeah, and even the Elton John biopic that was done, similar thing. And for me, if the person looks so close to the real person, I dive in deeper. But that being said, Tosh, I have to admit that I was watching just this morning a Hallmark Christmas movie when I got up, because I got up at very early at 5 a.m. and I was really tired, and I just wanted to kind of put something on, and that was just came to be on. And there was a scene in this one, I can't remember what it's called, sorry, but it was about Graceland and Christmas in Graceland. And so they're in Graceland, and they're talking to who I said, my God, that's Priscilla Presley. And so I said, I kept on looking at her, and I said, wow, whoever's playing Priscilla Presley, Jesus Christ, she looks just like her. So I said,
Please tell me it was her.
Sheva, get over here. You have to see this. I said, who is this actress? He said, well, that's Priscilla Presley. I said, are you sure? I guess I really like to see someone who looks just like the real person. So why not just the right person? So anyway,
that's
life's
amazing.
Indulgences. This episode was brought to you by Authentic Ginger Clothing. For more information on Authentic Ginger Clothing, go to www.authenticginger.com.
So there was a topic you wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, I do.
And I'm interested to see where you want to go with this.
I kind of want to take it to a bit more of a serious. I know we have a lot of fun in this podcast, and I just wanted to ask you a quick question. Like, what are some stereotypes that that are attached to redheads? Hot temper. I've never heard of this one, but clownish, I've read, is one. Weird, I've kind of read as a stereotype. Not capable of being the son. Well, we all know that, right? So we all know that that's a real thing. Intellectual superiority. What do you think about that one?
I'm a radio announcer in real life.
But you're pretty smart.
I am not intellectual.
So I actually had to think about this one because I do know several redheads, and certainly around the globe I know some as well. They are quite smart. And so the question I'm having here is, do these stereotypes, when do they come into play? Right? So when do we learn about these as adults, or not even as adults, as youth growing up? And what I'm getting at is, should we and how can we educate our youth in the school systems throughout the world, if that was a possibility, and what would it look like to bring it to their attention that hair color is a point of conversation with the redhead culture? Do you think it's right that we should try to instill something in youth at a young age so that they can recognize it? And do you think South Park had that influence on kids in school, which created obviously the Kick a Ginger Day and all that kind of stuff? What are your thoughts on this?
First and foremost, the South Park thing, like I've said, and I think almost every episode, is that I grew up with none of that. Like, I didn't know the Kick a Ginger thing. The worst thing I had was my grade 6 teacher, grade 5 or grade 6. He called me Redwood. That was the most I ever had because of my red hair. And yeah, my maiden name is Wood. So when I was in grade 5, obviously my last name was Wood. So he always called me Redwood. And I was like, oh, God, like, why does he do that? But he was an old man. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. I am of the mind that people are people. And my kids are raised that everybody is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter your hair, your eyes, your skin color, your size, your weight, your height. To my kids, they're raised people are people, and there's no difference between any of us.
Right.
So I think, and I know that we're on a podcast to like advocate for people that have something that's different about them, but I don't understand why it needs to be talked about to like any of this needs to be brought up and spoken about at all times. Like, it is what it is. You look like this and you look like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like my kids could get bugged because they have curly hair, or they could get bugged because one has blue eyes. You know what I mean? Like, I think that people just need to accept anyone and everyone for anything and everything that they are.
The follow-up to that is, if that was the case, would we have to be very careful on how we expose that education? You're in a school of, say, 600 students, and you may be one of 10 redheads in the entire school. So let's get everybody together for an assembly, and we're gonna have Darren Roach and Tosh Taylor come and do a seminar on treating people with kindness and kind of exposing the redhead culture, what that culture's been through, and over the years, and the bullying and everything else, the stigmas that are attached to it. Is there a fine line there? Would we have to be very careful on how we do that? And do you think that we could do it in a way that doesn't actually pinpoint redheads, but just adds on to what everyone else talks about, which is inclusivity and all of that sort of social realm that we're in now, where we're trying to be better as human beings to one another?
You then become hyperly sensitive about things. Then you run into a lot of problems that our world has had over the last few decades. Right? As we're trying too hard to fix things. Like, you've had it happen in Nova Scotia where they're, pulling down statues of people that did some bad shit in their past. And I'm not saying that we should reward these people. Yes, I think we should change the name of schools. But I also think that we can't erase the past.
Right.
All we can do is learn from it.
Yep.
So these things need to stay where they are so that our children learn how to not be.
Yeah. So then, to not put you on the spot, have you ever given? I know. Sorry. Have you ever given?
Too late.
Yeah, too late. By the way, have you ever given any thought to how can we, as a brand, as Authentic Ginger Podcast, how can we help the redhead culture get through some of the challenges that they face starting today and moving forward? And maybe it's just doing what we're doing right now. It's getting the conversation started. It's talking about the culture. It's talking about some of the wins and misses of redheads in the world. Some struggle a lot. Some don't struggle, like yourself. You haven't had that experience to the point that somebody else may have. But maybe we're doing what we're supposed to do right now. In this podcast, I have often thought there must be something else that we can do, and I thought to myself, maybe I should go into the schools and do like these virtual tours, that I can go to schools and say, hey, if it's not cool to call somebody fat, not cool to call somebody skinny, not cool to, or whatever, it's also not cool to make fun of a ginger. So if you're listening to this podcast and you want to join this conversation, again, it's a tough one. By all means, leave us a review and say your piece. We're more than an open door here at Authentic Ginger Podcast.
You know what? I just think like it'll be interesting as the podcast expands to see the different perspective on redheads in different countries.
Right.
Because like I've said before, it was really you that opened my eyes more to it, and I've started following more redheads on social media. But I really think that the way that we get around it is that we just be proud of who we are.
I wanted to let our listeners know that starting from now on and moving forward, we are going to offer our listeners a pretty sweet deal on Authentic Ginger swag. And so basically, Tosh, what they have to do is when you're on AuthenticGingerClothing.com or AuthenticGinger.com, you will see some information about our podcast. But also, we're going to give you a exclusive code. The code is GingerNation20. So that's going to give you 20% off our entire shop. And we'll keep announcing this, throughout the podcast length. moving forward, and we'll keep reminding you that you do have that option as a Ginger Nation member here and listener at Authentic Ginger Podcast. So what do you think of that, Tosh?
I think that is incredible. As an owner of a few of your shirts, they're an absolute must. I mean, like I said, if we're going to be, proud of who we are, then we need to be rocking all of the apparel as well.
We've got to show it. And you know what? You and I are working on a design for the Authentic Ginger Podcast shirt, official apparel. So we're getting that going too. I'm not sure if it'll be here for the holidays, but we'll see what happens. We'll try our best. But I do have some quotes that I want to end today's conversation off with. Yeah, so, often I'll do fun facts and trivia and stuff like that. But this time I'm going to just keep it short and sweet with some quotes. And I just want, if you feel like quotes. Jumping in, jump in, because that's what these are all about, having some fun with it. So only a ginger can call another ginger.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it.
I don't care. I don't care if someone calls me a ginger. So
yeah, but you don't like.
I'll be like, hells yeah.
But you don't like the word
Thank
ginger.
You for noticing.
Oh wait, you do like the word ginger.
No, I love
right.
the word ginger.
Okay.
But we have interviewed a couple people
That's
that
right.
said they don't like it.
That's right.
Yeah,
and we respect that totally.
Yes.
How about this one? It's a ginger thing.
Oh, it's a ginger thing.
It's a ginger thing.
I say that to people all the time.
Right.
All the time. It's just a ginger thing. Yeah.
You wouldn't get it. Yeah, that's right. That's what you say to people. Gentlemen prefer blondes, but it takes a real man to handle a redhead.
Yeah, you can ask my husband that. Yeah.
We might have to get him on the show one day too. Have these conversations.
So you can watch his head explode. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right. How do you handle a redhead's temper?
Gingerly.
Bingo. Nailed it. Of course. Yeah, I know you know these. I know you know these.
Yeah.
Yes, I am a ginger, and yes, I do have a soul. I like that quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should be right on the front page of our website. Yes.
Yes, I have a soul.
Yes, I have a soul. So, join the conversation. Here's the last one for you. Tell me who said this. I personally don't think ginger men have a habit of being attractive. We have to make ourselves seem attractive by doing stuff.
By doing stuff. I'm going to go with Conan.
Nope. One more guess.
Okay. Is it Ed?
It's Ed Sheeran. It's what's called the Ed Sheeran effect. I don't know if you and I ever talked about that, but it's a real thing. It's out there. If you look it up, you'll see that Ed Sheeran has paved the way, for the most part, for many redheaded men's love life. And, again, that's going to be an episode we're going to talk about down the road, too, because it really is true. I mean, not that I know that it's true, but from what I can see and what I've read and who I've talked to, it's often very hard for a redheaded man to get that girlfriend that he's been looking for. That was my last quote. Ed Sheeran was the answer. Ed, thank you for paving the way for the redheaded men in this world. So that's it. That's a wrap, Tosh. Let people know what's up.
We want you to leave us a review. Please and thank you. You can leave a review anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and you can follow along with us as well so that every Tuesday when they come up that you can get your Authentic Ginger podcast needs taken care of. And we have another great guest next week, so we'll see you then.
Bye for now. You've been listening to the Authentic Ginger Podcast.
Become a part of the Ginger Nation by liking, subscribing, following, and leaving a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This podcast was produced by Tosh Taylor of the Podcast Hub Productions. Find her online at podcasthub.ca.